All right, it's starting. Okay, looks like we're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome. People are seeing that we're here. People are hopping on. Thank you for joining us. Let me know where you're joining from. I'm streaming in a couple of places, and I'm going to try to watch your questions. So I am here with several Sacred Soul Alignment practitioners, several amazing healers, and every a couple times a year, I do these sort of roundtable discussions where I come on to a live stream with some of my amazing practitioners and give them an opportunity to share their experiences with Sacred Soul Alignment, with the class, with the tools, where they were when they started, whatever they want to share. I don't usually design anything ahead of time. I open the floor up to whatever anybody wants to share. So this is one of my favorite things to do because I love having the opportunity to connect with you guys and hearing what you're doing, which sometimes I don't get the opportunity to hear what you guys are all doing out there in the world with these tools. So welcome everybody, and thank you all of you amazing practitioners for being here. So I'm just going to kind of ask a couple of questions to open the floor basically, but feel free to say whatever you have to say about your experience with this class and with these tools. So let's just start with that. Does anybody have something that they would like to share? What was your experience like going through Sacred Soul Alignment and afterwards using the tools that you gained in this class? And I'm not gonna put anybody on the spot. I'm gonna open the floor. So if anybody has something to say that's here with me on the panel, go ahead and unmute yourself or just comment and I'll unmute you.
Hi.
Hi, Sonia.
I took the first round of Sacred Soul Alignment in October of last year, I think. And then I went through the course again in June. And what I really like the new format that you're using, the extended class. I feel like it's so much more, it gives us so much more time to learn the things that you're presenting to us. And I also wanted to say that I've had GI problems all my life and stomach ulcers and all kinds of things like that. I had my first ulcer at 19 and my last one last year in October. But then taking the Sacred Soul Alignments, working with practice partners, and doing the healings on myself, I've been able to cure that problem. I don't have any more stomach issues or any more GI problems, and I've been free of them since around January. So that's been a huge thing for me. Yeah, it's been great. And so I recommend for anybody to take these classes. I've learned so much. It's completely changed my life. And I have nothing but good things to say.
Thank you so much. It's so exciting to me to hear, really specific things that people have healed. And I found this out from you the last time we did a roundtable. I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. And I'm glad that you like the new format. We went from an 8-week course to a 12-week course, just for those of you who don't know what it was like before or don't know that I made that change. And I really broke down. We used to spend 2 weeks on the alignments, and now I think it is 9 weeks that we spend on the alignment. So I really go a lot deeper into how to use them, how to combine them into what I call cocktails, really individualize them. And then I also provide hundreds of beliefs and downloads that are connected to each of the series to really make to kind of give you a blueprint, just for those of you who are out there who aren't familiar with exactly what I'm doing in this class, to give you a blueprint to work from, so that it's kind of like the healing template is ready made for you. And then you can choose to go in any direction with that, go deeper, or just even use what's been provided for you.
It was really nice having the beliefs and the downloads. That is fabulous. And I was talking to Rashmila this morning and I showed her my notebook, and I don't have it here, but I've got a binder, and it's about this thick with all of the printouts, the PDFs and everything. And so now I have a whole book to study after our class.
That's amazing. Yeah, when I last round, I put all of the PDFs together. I actually had my daughter do this for me. I put all of the PDFs in one, thing. And she was like, it's like 150 pages. And I was like, that can't be right.
It's more than that.
It was a lot. And I was like, wow, I guess I did give them a lot time. So I was at first I was like, that can't possibly be right. You must have like double, done something.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. There's a lot of them now, and it's fabulous.
Thank you.
It's really great.
Thank you. I've compiled, this is the beliefs and the downloads that I provide is work that I have done with clients and in group programs for years. And I've compiled, I always keep track of what beliefs I'm clearing for the different, not necessarily for private clients, but for the different group programs that I do. So it's, it's years worth of my work that I'm so happy to pass on to you guys.
Yeah, it's priceless. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Sonia. Anybody else have anything to share about their experience with the class, or what, as Sonia was talking, my thought was, how has it made a difference for you guys to have these tools as we're navigating through such a strange time on our planet right now?
Yes, I would like to say something. Firstly, I took the class first round when in 2018 October, and there was an instant shift after that. Like, I had this best friend who was a girlfriend, and immediately after I took the course, she was just out of my life, and I realized just how toxic she was. And then I had that phobia of, can I really connect to women? Can I really trust them? And today I spoke to Sonia, and it was just so nice. And the change is so palpable. Also, from this round that I had taken, the last round, I just loved the beliefs and the downloads because they were so specific. I was actually able to go back to, yeah, this is the person with whom I had this belief, and only after Elisha said that belief, I knew that okay, that thing with that person is clearing. So it got really specific, and I was able to really value each section of alignments separately, in the sense that okay, this is that, and it's much more organized and easy to navigate. And I think that's very important because with a modality as huge as this, um, because everything can't be grasped in the head, it has to come from the heart. And so that is what we were talking about, that oh, it's okay if the organization is a little messed up, or because the energy is so pure and clean, sometimes it just comes through. So it's just priceless, and I really don't know where I would have been without the program and without Alicia.
Oh, thank you, Rashmila. I love one of my favorite things about what comes out of this experience is the friendships and the bonds that are formed, because I really encourage, I don't require that people practice together, but I highly encourage it, and most people do choose to do that. And it's like an instant family almost that's created, because when you practice together, you just really, you grow so much, and it's like you're getting double practice, because you're getting healing work for yourself, and you're getting that, that perception of how that other person is doing the work. And then you're getting to work with them, and then just a lot of amazing bonds are formed, and it's such a beautiful thing to be able to witness.
I've really felt that family feeling here, that I can come in and ask anything, and because the emotional safety is so strong, the trust is so high with everyone, because that is the healing that you offer at the very beginning. So it's just so clean. uh, it's the most safe place for me, actually.
Thank you.
To be like really honest. Yeah.
That makes me so happy because that's what I wanted to create. That's what I really set out to create. And so we do healing on the kickoff call, the first call, before we dive into any of the teaching. I do a lot of healing, and part of that healing is cleaning up the connections with the people that are joining that class, because we tend to be attracted to our soul families. And so along with that, that soul family connection sometimes can come past life trauma, karmic things that have happened. And we clean up all of that stuff, and even, and with myself included. And I have Kim come in and do an allergy healing for everybody together, for me, so that those connections can be really, we can start out with the cleanest possible connections within the group of people that has joined together. I don't know about any of you guys, but I've taken classes before where the people in the class will completely trigger each other. And sometimes it can wind into this chaotic situation. And so I really want to do everything that I can to avoid any of that. Not that we're not going to get triggered, because part of what happens in this class, especially the first 3 weeks, is our stuff will come up, because we now have a safe container for that to happen. And our soul knows that, our higher self knows that, our subconscious mind knows that. And we now have the tools to be able to help to clear that stuff. So the first 3 weeks that I'm teaching class, I pretty much clear my calendar, because a lot of stuff comes up. And those calls, those first 3 live calls, can sometimes they've gone over 3 hours long, because I want to make sure that everybody's really supported when their stuff comes up. And that could be a big job to hold that space. And I really appreciate when, I allow people to come through every time I teach. When they've taken the class, they can come through again for free, unless I do a huge upgrade, which I did last time. And I just charged a small fee of $197 for people to come through again. And they got an additional certification. But I really appreciate when people come through again, because I love seeing them, but also everybody there, we're holding space for each other. And so that's really beneficial to me too, because it's a lot to hold space for a big group of people. Last time, I think I had 80 people come through. This round is going to be smaller, but it's always a beautiful thing when I know there's people there that are holding space with me. So, oh yeah, there's a post. So I encourage practicing together, and I help facilitate practice partners. And in fact, I'd like to just take a moment to introduce Sandra, because she is my right-hand lady, and she helps me when I'm teaching. We started this last round because it was the biggest class I've ever had, and it got a little bit overwhelming for me. So I invited Sandra. She, out of all of my practitioners, I knew she was the one that I wanted to be by my side for this. And so I invited her to join me to help answer questions and help me facilitate different things. And she had the idea last time to actually help me match up practice partners. And so she helped facilitate that. So those of you who are joining this round, you'll get to know Sandra probably really well too. Is there anything you'd like to share? I said I wasn't going to put anybody on the spot, but I just sort of did. Is there anything you'd like to say, Sandra?
That's okay. Yeah, there's a lot I'd like to say. So I took Sacred Soul Alignment originally in, I don't even remember anymore if it was 2016, 2017, a long time ago. And I've taken it several times, and I learned something new every single time. And this last time with the new certification, it was amazing. I love these new tools. What I want to say is that I had been a Reiki master for over 20 years when I took Sacred Soul Alignment, but I had not yet really owned the fact that I was a healer. I signed up because I wanted to help myself and my family. And what I found was the tools were amazing. I was using them every single day, but I felt this strong need to share them with more people. Like it really brought out the healer in me, that I couldn't keep this just to myself because it was so good and so big. I had to share it.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. There's a lot of people who join because they want the tools for themselves and their families. I would say probably at least a third of the people who come through this program are doing it just for themselves, and maybe even up to a half of the people that come through. And that has happened many times where people come through and they're just like, I want to be able to do this healing work for myself so that I don't have to go to a healer, every time something comes up, and so I don't have to keep paying a healer. And we are all our own healers. So, having the tools is very important. And so people will come through thinking, oh, I just want to have this for myself. And a lot of times that will happen. They'll realize, they'll gain the confidence. For one, a lot of people gain the confidence that they really can do this work in the world, and then it can be so impactful. And then they've gone on to, create businesses where they just never even knew that was a possibility. And right now we're in such an interesting time on this planet because a lot of us have been forced to stay home more than usual. And some people have been forced to stay home pretty much all the time unless they have to go out for, essentials. We're in stay-at-home orders, different levels of that all over the world. And so it's really made people think about work differently. A lot of people are working from home, have seen that they can work from home. And so a lot of people are actually thinking about, how can I create, a viable source of income for myself from home? And I can tell you that this is definitely possible to do that through healing work. I'm right now working in my dining room, and my daughter's in her room doing schoolwork, or actually I think she's sewing, but we can do this. And I never thought it was possible 5 years ago. I didn't think it was possible to do that. It was inconceivable to me that I could literally work from my home and create such a big impact in the world, and create financial security for myself and my family. So that's just a thought. Even if you don't know that it's possible for you, if that's what you're led to, it is possible. It's also, just perfectly fine to do this work just for yourself and your family. We're making a huge impact on the world by doing that. And I always say that that's the most important work that we do, is the work on ourselves.
Well, I think, one of the things that I'm lucky about is this is my second round through. And the first time I went through it, I kind of was in a space. I came in as a Reiki master and Akashic Records practitioner, and I kept getting this nudge, like, I need to work with Alicia. I need to work with Alicia. And I was like, okay, fine. I mean, I thought if my intuition pushes me, I just do it. I'm at a point now where I'm okay, fine. And did the first round. It brought, and it will bring up your stuff. I mean, that's part of this work, is it will, it has amplified my clairs incredibly. And it's actually shifted my clairs, which is an interesting thing to go from where you thought, I mean, I'm still primarily clairaudient, but I'm more claircognizant now than I was before, and clairsentient than I was before. This second round was so much more powerful. But one of the things that I love about it, and I wanted to speak to specifically to, because I saw a couple comments where, by the way, you responded with incredible grace about the value and people wanting things for free. And I think that it's really important to hear that this is an investment in your own healing, and it's an investment in whatever you think you're going to do. When I first took my first course, my first anything course, to do the Akashic Records back when, my only intention was, ooh, neat, I can ask myself questions daily. I mean, that was literally my only point in doing it. So when I had seen all your freebies and I was coming on and I was doing this and I was like, okay, if there's that much in it and I'm spending 2 hours of my time, what is there more if I like actually invest in this? Well, I can tell you that I'm in North Carolina and we have been, our stay-at-home order is incredibly relaxed from what it was back at the beginning, but we still cannot, if you take your kittens or your fur babies to vets, you can't go in with them. And both of mine are very reactive, so they're not in a space where mommy's going to leave them alone. I just won't do it. So I use Sacred Soul alignments on my cat, my older of the two cats, Mookie. He had conjunctivitis, and I used Sacred Soul alignments several times a day, just completely randomly. I get a notice to do it. So I would go walk up to him and I would either put my hands on him and run them, or I would just be thinking about it randomly and I would run them with the intention that they heal him. And probably within 3 days, no signs of conjunctivitis, completely gone. Wow. Also healed his foot. He had a foot issue, and I kept going, asking, can I heal this on my own? Can I heal this on my own? And the thing is, when you start seeing the effects of the work that you're doing on yourself and other people, that's when you go, oh, you're not even intentionally doing it necessarily, but or even like when I had questions, I was like, well, can this really be this powerful? And I've had that thought. I own it. I've had that thought with any modality I've touched. Yeah, it can be. And the thing is making that investment in yourself, in your growth, even if you never touch another soul, even if you never want to use it for anybody else, I cannot recommend highly enough. I love you, Alicia, and your energy and the way that you hold space is really incredible. And I've worked with several different teachers that I would consider high level. And you are probably the best one I've worked with. And there's a lot out there. There's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of choices out there. If you are debating it, say yes to yourself. Say yes to this tool. There's so much in it. You really can go at your own pace. I highly recommend being live on the calls just because there's that very unique energy to a live call. But wow, I mean, I'm in. I mean, every time you do it, I'll be signing up to repeat it just because the energy is so yummy and beautiful, and you learn something new, you get something new every single time.
Thank you, Jilly.
Oh,
that was beautiful. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I really encourage people to come through every time, because I don't want to just throw some tools at you and be like, okay, now you go do your thing. I want it to be an involved community where we can grow together. That's my vision. And, so many practitioners come through again and again and again. Not because necessarily, they didn't get it the first time or whatever, because this work is easy, but because there is something new that comes through every time. And I always feel like, I was just talking to Kim about this. Somehow every time I teach, I'm like, okay, I've got it all now. Like I've got it. It's exactly how I want it to be. I can just, set it's in Kajabi. It's all good. And then something new will come in. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to follow my guidance. I'm going to add that in. I'm going to do that differently. So it's always constantly evolving. And the last round, everything was evolved. Everything was brand new. And even this time, I was looking at what I'm giving the students before we get started. And I'm like, oh, I really want to upgrade that. So I upgraded a couple of things and made a couple of new videos. And, so it's an ever expanding energy. And I love that you guys come through again. And the live calls are amazing. I do encourage you to be on them live if you can. However, you don't have to be. You can present your questions or whatever your comments, whatever you got. And I address those live, and so you can watch later. And all of the healing that comes through, there's just is healing that happens on these calls. That's why sometimes they're 3 hours plus. There's a lot of healing, especially in the first 3 weeks. And so you'll get all of that by listening to the live calls. It's really nice for me to have all of the energy of everybody. But if you can't be on live, that's definitely possible that you can still come through. A lot of people have come through and never been on live. Anybody, it's not too late to sign up for this round. So I've got a few questions here. And as I'm gonna look through the questions that people are giving me in the group. If anybody else has something that they'd like to share while I take a look at those. Just so you know, we start next Thursday, October 15th.
I would like to share. I joined this past class, and I joined because I had taken the master class, and in those 4 days, just the energy that Alicia had and what she presented, I too was used to Reiki for several years and practiced Reiki, but there was something different about this modality that called to me, that said, no, you need to do this. I don't care. And at that point, I wasn't able to afford it. And then Alicia brought in the 12-month program, and I was able to afford it, and I did it. I jumped in and I did it. And for me alone, just my own confidence in the healer that I am has just soared, and it has just changed. And I didn't know that was possible. I didn't think that was possible. The modality is totally different. The belief work that you do around all these healings and these alignments and the energies. Yes, Reiki goes to the root of the problem, but a lot of what I was encountering is people want to know, okay, well, how can you help me right now in this moment? I don't want to know what you can do for me in the long run, but how is this going to help me now, right now in this moment? And so going with those beliefs and clearing out those beliefs. And I didn't know about spells and contracts. I started my journey 3 years ago. So everything has been just like super new. And I know a couple of the questions I posted, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sound crazy, but I got to do this because I need an answer. So it's been the best experience. Really, really, it has. It changed me completely. So it's well worth the investment, and it's well worth the time. And if I can, I'm going to probably participate this next round as well, because it's amazing. It's a really nice modality to incorporate in your life today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. And these tools do work in the moment right now, and they work fast. And that's why I created these tools, because I don't want to spend 6 months or even 6 hours working on clearing a belief. I want it done quickly. I want it done on all levels, and I want to move on with my life and be able to co-create from a perspective without those false beliefs that are weighing me down. And a lot of the modalities that I was using, even though they're amazing modalities, they weren't working fast enough for me. And I was getting frustrated. And so that's where this was born from, is me wanting something faster, deeper, and more powerful than what I was using. A couple questions here from the group. So things come up, and then what? How do you release? I'm asking because I feel like I'm in a cycle of the same things coming up, and they're still there, like maybe lifetimes of stuff coming up. Does anybody want to take that question? What happens when things come up in this program? How do we release them? What happens in the classes? Does anybody want to answer that? And if not, I can answer. I'll wait and see.
I'll say something.
All right. Thank you, Bobby Joe.
Hi. So I had been probably 3 years prior, had a few significant major traumas that were very surprising because I'm older, happened. And I was kind of really stuck in a trauma response state, some from the military, some from stuff that was happening currently. And then I went through a PTSD program for veterans, just like an outpatient retreat thing. I was kind of at my limit and I knew I needed to do something. And it was like literally shifting. My heart kind of had opened up. I had gone to a school like 10 years ago because I'm from San Diego. I'm in Kansas City now. But I hadn't been using like any of my intuition, any of my, I used to do exchanges for friends, like none of that. They did a labyrinth during the retreat and I'm like, oh my God, when was the last time I did a labyrinth? You know what I mean? Like all this stuff started coming up. And then I hadn't been on Facebook for a year even. Someone created a profile. I was really kind of like, I don't want to be on Facebook. And Alicia's masterclass popped up. And her and a couple other people were all of a sudden popped up on my ads. And I was like, oh, what's this? So I took a couple of your, it was like some of the ones where you're just kind of clearing some stuff. And then Inner Healer came up, that series. And oh my, it was so powerful. So powerful. And so then of course you're talking about the certification. And I knew, I'm like, I have to do this. Like it's bringing up so much stuff. So I think that, I don't remember when we started the program. Was it around March or you probably know when?
Yeah, it was in June,
January?
actually.
Is it June? So I had gone through the PTSD program in October and like all this stuff had come up, right? And I'm like, it's a lot of trauma. And I wasn't quite sure how to maneuver it day to day. And then I took Inner Healer. All my gifts started coming up. And then as I joined the program, all the stuff was coming up. I'm talking like, I would listen, because I think I made almost everyone live. I would listen live and like sometimes just pass out like in the middle of it. It was so much energy for me to process that my body just couldn't handle it. I was just releasing so much trauma. And then I would listen again. And I remember I went through a few days, probably like 3 weeks in or so, after we'd had a few of the Sacred Light foundations and the modalities coming through. And I would just have them on while I was cleaning. I would have them on, soaking in a salt bath or walking labyrinths. I started walking the labyrinths again. So I would be outside in nature. And it really, so you'd have the initial live class, but then being able to process them and listen to them again after you've cleared that major part of it, and then another layer would go, and it was a lot softer, and I wasn't necessarily sitting like in the meditative state. I could do like I don't know, so it's what do you call it, like more like action, we call it karma yoga, where you're like actually doing stuff and releasing stuff, and you're not, your body's able to get it out, where you're not just sitting there kind of in your 5D state, and your space is changing, you're up leveling, you're expanding. But it was getting like, my body was like, I'm not here yet. Like it was like freaking out. But I found that being able to re-listen to them was really powerful for me personally. But also when we started doing exchanges with other students, I think that was really powerful. Even just sharing the stories helped, excuse me, clear out some of the stuff I wasn't clearing out myself. And I will say that putting the bonus, which I know it's you included it in this time too, but originally you had included the love and relationships in the curriculum, when we initially had set up, and you had added it. And it was so crazy, of course, was it really? The week that you added it in was exactly the week that I personally needed to clear all of that trauma. Like it was perfect timing. It was the perfect sequence in the series. And it wasn't even like necessarily intimate. there was an intimate person that had caused a lot that I really needed to clear to move on, but it was being able to clear it with other spaces, like old workspace and, you know, friends, and like someone else had mentioned clearing, you know, your best friend got cleared out. But it was really powerful. So the bonus was powerful. I went from doing it for myself, and I just signed up because I'm like, I am on a up leveling, getting this stuff out of my space path. Like I want to be a good mother, and I need this for myself. And now I launched a branch. I am on social media. Like I would never, like, I mean, 4 months ago, before August, when I actually did it, I would have laughed at you. I had my pro reader was telling me for a year, you're going to start a business, keep your stories, like write this stuff down. And I was like, okay, yeah, surely. All right. And, you know, now I've launched a practice using the sacred soul alignments with my social work background. And like it's just amazing. So thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations. I love that you're able to use this work, and with a social work background.
Mm.
What a beautiful combination that is. And you know, yes, our stuff comes up in this, you know, when we have the opportunity to clear it. And so we do a lot of, you know, the support on the live calls. And then I have a library, and I just started this last round, but I have a whole library that's in the course of support recordings, so that you can just pull those out whenever you know, okay, I'm having, you know, I just feel like my body is like just anxious. You know, you can pull out the recording that's going to help you for that, or emotional overwhelm, or maybe you're feeling you've got a headache coming on, or I mean, there's like 20 different support recordings. You're having trouble sleeping, whatever it is. So there's a lot of support that is available in this program. I mean, it's a certification program, it's a teaching program, but beyond that, it's also a really, really deep healing program. That you receive healing. And I have personally not experienced a teaching class that also included that much healing. And that's what I needed when I started seeking out healing work and wanting to learn this stuff. I needed healing myself, first of all, like before I could do any of this. And that was never anything I got. So that's one of the reasons why I really make sure that this is a big support for people. So thank you for sharing that story, Bobby Joe. And I love where you are now. I'm going to just answer a couple other questions. Can you do this and learn other modalities like Reiki, for example? I would say probably at least half of the practitioners that come through, well, maybe not at least, but a lot of people have Reiki. I'm personally not certified in Reiki, but a lot of sacred soul alignment practitioners are. Theta healing, which was my original foundation, body code and emotion code, body talk. There's a lot of modalities that people practice in combination with sacred soul alignment. It goes perfectly with any modality that I've ever come across. A lot of people also have taken Akashic Records reading classes, and I don't teach how to read the Akashic Records in this class, but I do teach you how to quickly and easily access somebody's, what I call their soul record, which is your galactic and Akashic records. And all of the work and every single tool that I pass on is working in the Akashic records. So I don't teach you how to get in there and like ask the questions. Although once you've opened the soul records of yourself or a client, it's much easier to get that information, because that whole information field opens up for us with that intention and with the person's permission that we're working with. The calls always on the same time of day? The calls are Thursdays at 1 o'clock Pacific time. It's 12 classes, but this round, because of the holidays, it's actually going for 16 weeks, which I'm thinking might be a lot more easily integrated, because there's going to be breaks in there for it to catch up if you've missed a couple of classes, or, you know, to just give yourself a little break and integrate. And I may decide that this is how I want to do things going forward, is have some breaks built in. I feel like that might be more optimal for people. All of the live calls are Q&A, and the attunements and healing work usually comes up. So all of the actual teachings and lessons are pre-recorded videos that are about 20 to 40 minutes long, each video. And I've learned over the years that this is a much more effective way of teaching. So you'll be able to have those digestible teaching videos, and then there's so much more opportunity to spend on really getting individual with questions and issues that are coming up. The sessions are on Zoom, but I also live stream them in the Facebook group. So you can join either way. And I answer questions. I'm watching both places. So I'm gonna present this question to you guys here. So I've done the 4-day masterclass, but I felt I wasn't ready for the next level. I've only just started my spiritual journey a week before I took the masterclass. Would this benefit me now, or do I need to practice more on beginner stuff? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? And if not, I'll share my thoughts, but I would love to open this up to you, those of you who are here with me.
I do. I'd be happy to chat. So I did this last round was in June, and this is set up to be no matter where you're at in your journey, because so much of it is just about your own personal healing. As you're learning, yes, you're going to be able to work with these energies and do something for help other people, but in order to be that best conduit, you want to be also clear yourself, or as get rid of as much of your own junk that you don't even know you're holding. I've done tons of work over the years and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I've cleared this and I'm good with that. And all of a sudden then I was like, oh, isn't that interesting that just hit me much more than I thought. And I'm like, okay. And this energy is just so gentle, but so powerful. All the different different alignments that she's put together. It absolutely is something to take on at any stage, no matter whether you are seasoned in 9 million different modalities, or if you've never done anything like this before, because you're going to take on exactly what you need at that time. And it's magical. It's well put together. It really is. I have several modalities under my belt, and I have a healing practice with practitioners, with clients and such. And adding this has just been really cool, and a whole new journey for myself too, to up level. And but I wouldn't have needed to have anything under my belt to be able to use these tools in my life. So absolutely, now is the time. This is no better time.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Doreen. Yeah, the truth is this is extremely advanced work in what it is actually doing. But I have designed it in a way to where you can start as a complete beginner. And I give you those foundations, and the work is easy to use. The alignments are very easy. Probably the most common question I get from people is, am I doing this right? Because it's so easy. Like, shouldn't I have to do all these complicated things? And you don't. But what's happening is a very high level, very advanced. So that's why it works for wherever you're at. If you are a complete beginner, you can still come in and get everything you need, just like Doreen said. But if you are a very high level advanced healer, you're going to find that adding these tools to what you are already doing is going to take your work to a whole new level. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to add to that or to say? Those are all the questions I'm seeing.
I will. I think that your class is a perfect place to start, because you do lay the foundations and you make sure that if anybody has any questions, you answer all of them. And, I didn't know a lot of this stuff when I started working with you. And the other thing is, if you don't get it the first time, you can go around the next time to deepen it, and that I found that really helped me too. Having the a few months between the classes, I was able to see, but when I went through the second time, like notice my clairs more. And, I had worked with just practice partners and other people, my friends and things. And it helped me to be more comfortable and to recognize the stuff that I didn't even know, that I learned in the class. So, and one other thing I wanted to say is something about PTSD is I'm on disability for PTSD and have been since like 2006. And I was finding that my symptoms and my PTSD was just getting worse over the years. And, it was growing and really affecting all areas of my life. And by working with this modality and working on those traumas, it's been like so many months since I've been triggered. And I used to get triggered sometimes daily, which is really uncomfortable. It's when you get fight or flight symptoms, and it's just really uncomfortable place to be. But it's been like a miracle. It really has, to have that. And to have these healing tools. If I feel a trigger coming on, they work and I'm able to calm myself back down. And I never, ever, ever thought that I would be able to do this with this disease. I thought I was just going to die with it getting worse. So for that, I'm also very grateful.
Wow. Thank you,
Nice.
Sonia. That makes me so happy.
Yeah, thanks.
That's beautiful. And that's actually something I hear a lot from people is anxiety, even PTSD level anxiety is, so much improved, if not completely resolved with using these tools. So thank you. Does anybody else have anything that they'd like to share? It could be anything, any of your experience with this class, any stories for your personal life or with clients, or just anything you'd like to say to somebody who might be wondering if they can do this or if this is for them.
I would like to say something. I don't want to show my face because I've been like working in the house, but so like I tend to forget my tools whenever I start kind of having freak out moments and stuff like that. But then, something will kick in for me and I'll remember, oh yeah, I can totally like help myself. Like it's always my last resort to help myself. So that's something that I've learned in the class is to just kind of stop for a second and remember that I have all the tools that I need right now to fix what's going on with me. And then my anxiety, I kind of had like this epiphany like halfway through June's class, that my anxiety, because I would feel it in the middle of my chest, it was more energy getting stuck. And I learned how to like push it out. And so now like I really don't have anxiety anymore.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you for showing up and doing this work. When we do this work for ourselves, we literally are changing the energy collectively. And that's why I always say that it's the most important work that we can do is to work on ourselves. So thank you.
It's so fun too. Once you start using these, all of a sudden you're just like doing something and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm running alignments. It's like, I'm not even like, it's become very natural that I'm just like, oh, running this or just, and that's what's so great. This is on the fly, on the go. It's like, it's not, hands in a certain position or, it's like they have to be like this. It's very, very portable and very usable in every situation and every, anything that comes up. It's fun. It's just actually fun. There's, you don't have to go, oh, am I doing it right or not? It's like, well, you're doing it. you're doing it, and it's going to be just fine. And wait till you see all the things that shift, and it's good. It's good.
Thank you. And yeah, isn't it amazing that healing can actually be fun? Like, who would
Yeah.
think? You know, we can actually be doing deep shadow work and even through that having some fun, you know, maybe once we get through those emotions a little bit, but our lives can become so much more joyful. And there's a lot of fun things you can do with the alignments. Is anybody doing anything unique or fun other than just running them? I'm sure Sonia, you are. Sandra is, yeah.
Yeah, where I program my crystals and I clear them and then put intentions. I just ordered some new like jewelry, and it was really fun because I didn't get it from somebody who mostly I buy crystals from Sacred Soul Alignment friends, but I bought these from somewhere else, and I was like, I better clear those, before I put them on. And so I was like thinking, oh, I missed the full moon. And I was like, oh, I don't need the full moon. I've got Sacred Soul Alignment.
Yes.
That's been really fun.
Yeah, and I teach you how to do that in the class too. That's something that's new in this round. I didn't really go into that stuff very much previously. But Sandra, you're doing this. You do this with you're doing a lot of amazing things.
Yeah, I love to make essential oil blends and then add alignments into them. Yep. I know you have my goddess roller.
Yes, I love it.
What, 20 goddess alignments in it? And everyone I know who uses that says that it just raises their vibration like crazy.
Yeah, it makes you feel like a goddess. And it's funny, you go out, you put this on and you go out in public somewhere, and you really notice that people are treating you differently. They're looking at you like, oh, who are you, kind of a thing. And you get a lot more just sort of, people can feel our vibration, and one of the things I do with alignments is I run them on my daughter's clothes and my clothes, but mostly I remember to do them for her when I'm folding her clothes after I've washed them, so that when she puts on her clothes, it's wrapped, she's wrapping herself in the energy of alignments. There's people who use them with music, musicians that are using them, acupuncture practitioners using them, activating their needles with them, oils, candles, crystals, artists are using them, activating their art with them. There's just, the limitations are only through our imagination with what we can do with this work. So I'm just going to look at questions. Is there anything else anybody would like to share? Anybody who hasn't gotten an opportunity to share that would like to say something?
I wanted to say something. I joined, I think it was in 2017, and I really enjoyed the Sacred Soul Alignments. I tend to have an issue with taking on the energy of other people, and you've helped me to have the tools to just clear that during the day. And it's also cleared my block that I had as an artist. I started painting again. And you can use the alignments on your home and the rooms in your house, and the area where I paint and draw, the energy, because of the alignments that I run, it just feels so good to go in there and sit down and begin working and doing creative work. So I appreciate it so much, and just want to say that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I activate my doorways. I was part of I was asked to be like the resident healer of a big retreat last year, about a year ago. And I used the alignments to clear the whole space, to activate the doorways. I activated each one of the chairs with alignments. I went around the room and just activated different, and people could feel the energy. It was amazing. So there's so much we can do with them. And it's easy. We could, like Doreen said, it's healing on the fly. We can just, whenever it pops into our mind, we can do it once you're attuned to them and learn how to use them. Anybody else have anything that they would like to share that hasn't gotten an opportunity?
I'd like to share, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Hello, thank you.
Can you see me?
As soon as if you start talking, as soon as I'm not talking anymore, you'll pop up on the screen.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm from Australia. So basically, I wish I'd found Alicia, as soon as the question was asked about, is it too soon? I just started my spiritual, journey, because in the past I have had mentors that weren't in integrity, and that would, blame students if they weren't healing quickly enough. Like they'd put it back on you, like because it was with Reiki. I became a Reiki master, and I always had like stuff happening in my heart, and like the teacher even said to me, and he's considered, like next level in Canberra where I'm from. He would say like, oh, your heart, energy is terrible again, and I just fixed it, and like what are you doing? And so it kind of put me down a lot. So I've been really grateful to have a teacher with really high integrity, and it's really empowered me on my healing journey, because I'm starting to develop my own modality now, and I'm just a lot more confident.
I love that. Thank
Awesome.
you. Thank you. And congratulations on your modality.
I've just started, but I don't think I would have got to that place with any other healing modality, because this one is just so complete, and you can always go deeper if you want. Like it's not like other practices I've done where you sort of grow out of it and then you just think, I just don't use that anymore. What's next? I need something else to heal this stuff. Like you can just keep on like developing tools, and like you can keep learning more. The content's always there, and the group, the community is always there. Everyone's always adding their, great ideas about what they're doing. So I encourage anyone that's sort of like holding back and thinking, oh, I don't know, like this is, like so woo woo, like will I be able to do this? Do I have the gifts? I encourage that you do have the gifts. We all have the ability to heal, and I just encourage you to really if you maybe need to clear if you're scared to do it, because I know that when I wanted to do it, I was really scared. I was just like, oh, like it's on the internet somewhere in America, like what if it's like
Right.
what if, like the 4-day healing was just like the best, and then we go and do it and it's like it's like I'm not good at it, or it's just not value, but it really is so much value, and there's so many bonuses. So I really encourage you to like work through anything if you're scared to do it, because I think it's just amazing, and you'll find so much benefit. It just keeps getting better for me, like, and keeps going deeper. So thanks, Alicia.
You're welcome. Thank you, Adriana. And I love that you said you don't outgrow it, because that's happened for me with a lot of modalities too. And that is something that I have noticed with practitioners. There are some very, very high level healers that are sacred soul alignment practitioners. And I hear from you guys that you're using these tools all the time, even with everything else that's available to us, because they grow and expand with you. So that makes me really, really happy to hear that from you. Thank you so much. And the modality thing, that's another thing that's happened that I haven't really talked about much, but a lot of people have come through this program, and I don't really know exactly what it is, but there is something about coming through this program that has helped many people unlock their own modality, something that, because this is all within you already, but there's something about sacred soul alignment that helps to unlock either the ability, the confidence, the energy that's already there, whatever it is, to create your own modality. Many, many people have come through and created their own modalities after coming through this program. And, I don't want to just give you these tools and be like, go out there and talk about sacred soul alignment, although I love it when you guys go out and talk about sacred soul alignment, but I want to create something that's even more than that, more of a ripple effect beyond sacred soul alignment. And so I love it when that happens for people. And I've actually mentored a couple of people in privately, helping them create modalities that are beyond anything I could have imagined. So it's exciting to me to be a part of that. Okay, I think I saw a question. Oh, where do these energies come from? Do you know where these energies come from? All of the energies that I channel and create come directly from source. And sometimes I do work with, some other beings, Lemurians, some of the archangels, but all of the energy, and I'm working with them as like helper beings, that the energies themselves are coming directly from source. And the connections that we make that are so important to be able to do this work are pure source connections. So hopefully that helps. Did some of you find a totally different calling than what you expected? And I think a couple of you have definitely said that that's true. Is there anybody else that wants to answer that question? And if not, that's okay. I can go on to the next question. Do you know your galactic origin? Maybe there's more than one. That's not something I personally get a lot of, I don't get hung up on that personally. That's not something we really go into in this class, galactic origin, although we are working with the galactic energies for sure. Good. I think that's all the questions that I'm seeing. Hopefully I'm not missing any. Okay, before we wrap up, I'll just give one more chance. Is there anybody who hasn't gotten an opportunity to share that would like to
I'd
say?
like to.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Angela Maria.
Sorry if I'm late. Yes, I'm in another time zone completely.
I know.
So. No, I mean, even people on the East Coast that I'm part of, I'm not part of that time zone because my state doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to do a daylight savings. Anyway, I actually wanted to say a little bit about, especially the people who go through one round and then feel like it's not enough. In the beginning, just when you feel called to do it, and the amazing thing is all of us who had felt called, and then suddenly they're in it and then they pull right back because, wow, this is overwhelming. And or think, I can't do this. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the mind. But I remember in the beginning, I used to just go out cold a lot in the beginning, and it happened less and less and less. And I learned even how to control, where I feel the energy, and I recognize it more and more as the weeks go by. And I'm so glad you made it a 12-week. For some reason, that the 12 weeks gives it a lot of roundedness, and because the last, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, the confidence actually grew a lot.
Oh, good.
Because in the beginning, it's really, really quite daunting. And I wanted to say that the imagery of the onion, I always bring that up, because to me, the belief systems can be so deep rooted that you actually feel, you can look back and go, wow, that was a layer that got released, and slowly get released throughout the course of the course as you're going through it. And potentially once you're through it, you can look back and say, wow, I was a different person. I was in a different mindset when I started than I am now. And I think that's the beauty of it, because even if you don't feel ready to practice at the end of the 12 weeks, you can still keep going. You can still go through it and still uncover and unwrap more and more layers, because the healing happens incrementally.
Yes, that's a really important point. Thank you. And there's people, who've been in this modality family for 4 years now, and they keep coming back, and they keep learning more, and the healing is never complete as long as we are a human being. It's a journey, so it's never complete. We're never going to be healed. We can never say, okay, I'm healed, there's nothing more to do, there's no more growth. for me to do on this life. I'm just going to go, shine my light. But we evolve and we get more healed and more, we're able to hold more light and shine more light. But it's a journey. It's the journey that we've signed up for as human beings. So having a place to grow and expand is really it's important for me, and I know it's important for all of you guys too. And I lost my other train of thought there. Oh, the daunting part. That's the first 3 weeks of this program is very intense, and it gets less intense as you go. Part of that is because of everything that comes up. That's usually the time when everything's coming up, and part of that is the teachings are the most concentrated for the first 3 weeks. So I'm glad to hear that you like the 12 weeks, and now it's going to be even longer. It's going to be a full 16 weeks, which I'm excited to spend that much time with you guys. So there's going to be even more space, and there's a lot of people who, what life happens, or for whatever reason, they don't complete the training in that round, and they come through, and 6 months later they'll complete it, and they'll have so much more awarenesses, and it's like the world just opens up. So it's not like you have to, you have a certain amount of time, and if you don't do it, then you've lost out, because it's available to you infinitely, and as long as we're here, and you're not missing out, because you can come live again. Even if you did complete it, you can still keep coming live. And I'm not seeing any more questions. Anybody else?
I'd like to say something.
Oh, good. Go ahead,
Sandra.
Okay. I just want to say that if you're on the fence about this, jump, do it. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. But I also want to talk about Alicia's teaching, because Alicia is an amazing teacher, and she's got so much integrity and so much compassion. She really cares about her students. And if you take this course, you won't get left behind. There's, Alicia is a great teacher. There's a support system. There's a community. And so, if you're hearing all of this and it sounds just overwhelming, know that you can do it in small bites, and you can get through it. You won't get left behind. There's just so much support for you. So don't hesitate.
Thank you, Sandra. And it really makes a difference now. It's not just me being able to support you, but Sandra's there. That was an amazing addition that we joined together last round. And then you have each other too. There's an amazing support system. So thank you for saying that you won't get left behind, because that's really, really important to me. I don't want somebody to just sign up and pay me money and that's all, and that's where it ends. I want this to be a lifelong relationship. That's really important to me. Thank you for saying that, Sandra. And I think Kaja has something to share.
I do. What I want to say is what I most appreciate is Alicia's leadership and sensibility and respect. And it brings me to tears to talk about it, because not just for all of us and for this class, but for all of humanity, and your commitment to this work and to all of us. And that's what I appreciate most about the course.
Thank you. Now I'm going to cry. Every time I think I'm going to cry. Thank you.
But I also want to say that includes Sandra as well, that she's come on board, and that I also want to say that everyone that Alicia chooses to surround herself with and to work with are also equally amazing and have equal amounts of integrity. And that's very important to me, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There's nothing I would rather hear than those words that you just said. Thank you. And I can tell you that it's been a journey of discernment for me. I have not always, chosen to work with the right people. But it's been a lesson that I've had to learn that was painful to me, but it led me into a place of much, much higher discernment and a level of trust in myself that I simply didn't have 4 years ago, or even really 3 years ago. So I feel really good about everybody that comes into my circle that I choose to work with, and the people that come into this program. I set high intentions for the people that come in, that are called to this work. And if you sign up, you are ready. I really set the intentions that only the people who are ready, who are fully going to be in integrity doing this work, will join me. And I can't be more thrilled with the kind of people, the caliber of people that come through. All of you guys here, you're high level healers. So thank you. Now I get emotional on these. I think I've cried before on these roundtables. Anybody else have anything to say before we hop off?
It's Shelly. I just wanted to say that I have gone through so many trainings as I've worked on healing myself. And I found that with Alicia's training, she caught my eye last year. And so I knew I wanted to work with her and learn from her and do this healing work. And so I kind of took baby steps. I showed up to all of her little free things that she was offering. And then I kept purchasing each little piece that was presented. And then finally I just jumped into the Sacred Soul alignment. And it has been one of the best investments as a healer for me, to add to my practice. But it has been such a huge growing piece for me where I have healed so much of my stuff. And the one thing that spoke to me was healing my trauma and all these hidden things that I couldn't see, that couldn't come up to the surface. And so I have these amazing tools, the Sacred Light Foundations and all the alignments, the tools in my toolbox. And I'm a really big believer in having tons of tools on our healing journey, because we need to pull them out at different times and use different things. And I found that the tools that Alicia gives and the things that I've learned have been so valuable for me. Like, I feel like this just, I did so much healing in this round, and it's also taken my healing to another level, which I don't think I would have gotten anywhere else if I didn't do all this work. So it's been really great, and I can't wait to see like what happens after. And my sense is Alicia has a really great alignment, Awaken Your Senses. And I've been listening to that one often and often, and I have become more attuned to my own feelings and visions and hearing and sensing. And that to me is like so cool. Because I really wanted to get in tune with that. And so it's just been a great time here. And Alicia's integrity, like, I've done lots of trainings with other mentors, and what really speaks to me is the integrity and impeccability that Alicia shows us. And she's like a beautiful role model. And same with Sandra as well, like so supportive. And that's the difference between somebody who cares about us and somebody who just wants us to get through a modality and certify us, and them, we're kind of like the next person that comes through, but there's a lot of care here. And that's what makes us feel loved and supported, and we can heal better through that way. So just wanted to say that. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you so much, Shelly. That means so much to me. I really do genuinely care about everyone. Everyone who comes through this program, and everyone who comes into my circle at all, who's in my group, coming to the free stuff, watching me on YouTube or wherever you find me. I really do care whether, you follow me and just come to all the free stuff and you're not called or not able to join any paid program. I really do care about people and about doing this work, because I know how much it has dramatically changed my life. So that means so much to me for you to say that. Thank you. And I messed up on the time, so I just want to see if there's anybody here that hopped in, because I messed up on the time between 1 and 2, and I don't think anybody's hopped in at 2 o'clock. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't going to leave anybody out. So one last call. Anybody else have anything that you'd like to share that hasn't been able to say it yet?
Sorry. I was going to just say, I know I shared, but I wanted to add that someone who didn't know I was going to start a practice and then did. I can heal, I can social work all day. I'm on point. Trying to start a business on social media, like I never had Instagram. I've never used the Amazon data thing. I don't even know what it's called, but I'm using it now. Just the bonus alone, and I think you're revamping it a little bit, but the aligned and abundant, I kind of looked at it a little bit, but I was like, oh, it's a bonus. I don't think I'll use it. Oh my goodness. I was literally just like, I don't know how to pull my Facebook lives from because my daughter's like, you should put these on YouTube like the other healers. And I'm like, I don't think you can. Yes, you can, because I went on the aligned and abundant bonus, and Alicia goes step by step on how to use, and she has your tech person that goes step by step on how to use all the different tech things, whether it's streaming Zoom or, and which programs she used that she didn't really care for, but this is a better program. That's how I chose even using Kajabi as a platform for a course that I'm working on. So I wanted to say that. And I also wanted to say that when you offered the advanced course, I literally didn't even think twice. Like, I'm in the advanced program now. I signed up for it, which, you have to go through this certification first. It is, oh my God, it is so next level that the investment of just taking the first certification to get into the advanced certification is absolutely worth it. The Reclaiming series has just upped my game, and I'm using it in some of the live healings that I'm doing now in my group. And I'm just getting just amazing feedback. So, whether you're seasoned or not, or just starting, start here, and it just only expands further out.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm loving that. That's Sacred Light Foundations level 2 that Kim and I are teaching together. I love that class. And you do have to come through this to be able to get that. And thank you for saying that about the tech stuff too, because I haven't even talked about that, the whole bonus, the business course. I, from the beginning, do a lot of my own tech stuff. And I kind of like to be able to have my hands in that. And so I've learned a lot. And I've also spent like an entire day trying to figure out how to edit a recording. So I like to pass on what I've learned so that, you guys can, if you're going to do this, make recordings and do the things that you know how to do it. So you don't have to waste an entire day like I've done many times, or, figure out what to choose and like what microphone to choose, or what, whatever it is. So I'm really happy to pass on that information to you guys. Thank you for mentioning that, because I hadn't even thought about that. And then somebody else tried to pop in too. Somebody else had something to say, but I didn't catch who it was.
It was me, but I think that, that's a really good point, that with this modality, like, we can go anywhere we want. Like, you can, if you just want to do this modality to be able to heal yourself, and you just think, I don't want to treat other people, I'm just not well, or, I'm really stuck in some kind of trauma. You can do that. If you want to make your own modality, you can do that, and you'll be supported to go really far. So I think that's a really good point by Bobby Joe.
Thank you, Adriana. Okay, I think I saw a question that I wanted to answer. Oh, Cecilia said that brings her to tears too. How do you know what alignment to use for what, or do you get a call to use what tool? So I do, go into that in the class, and how to combine the alignments. Like, I give you some combinations of alignments to use for specific things. I call them cocktails of alignments. to use for specific things, but also and I give you at the end, I give you a chart so that you don't have to flip through 25 pages of, descriptions. You can just muscle test or use a pendulum. There is a muscle testing class and attunement. So for those of you who want to learn how to muscle test, that's part of Sacred Light Foundations, which is the first 2 weeks of this program is Sacred Light Foundations. So you do learn how to muscle test, and there's an attunement that will help really increase your muscle testing accuracy. So there's a chart you can use. You can muscle test or use a pendulum. But what also happens, like a lot of people have mentioned here, is that your intuition through this work, and really it's because of the healing and some of the activations, the attunements, your intuition will increase, and most likely it will increase dramatically. So once you're through the program, you've gotten all of it, there's a high probability that you'll just hear an alignment to run. But you also, as that's building for you, there's a lot of instruction that I give to help you know what to use for when. And there's descriptions of the alignments that you'll know what they're for, and you'll know how to combine them and how to use them. So that's a good question. Okay, and I'm not seeing any other questions. So I guess I keep saying one last opportunity, but I'll give one final, open the platform for anybody else who wants to say one final thing. And if not, we'll just wrap up. Okay, so everybody's said so many amazing things. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to those of you who are on this journey with me, and for joining me, those of you who joined me for this roundtable today. There were some people who wanted to be here who this time didn't work for them. So I'm actually going to be doing this again on Monday. I'll make a post in the group. I don't want to say the time because I messed up this time. I got confused on the time. So I want to confirm that, but it will be on Monday. And then Tuesday, I'm doing another kind of a final masterclass before we start the program on Thursday, October 15th. Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific time, I'm going to be doing a masterclass on the heart of creation, which is the foundation, the connections that we make with Source, with our own divine aspects, with our clients, higher self. We enter into it through this connection, the heart of creation. I'm going to be doing a masterclass on that. I'm going to be guiding you through that connection and kind of talking about what's all happening there. And of course, I'll be doing some healing. So that'll be Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. That's Tuesday the 13th at 1 o'clock Pacific time. And if you want to hear from more amazing, incredible practitioners, you can join us on Monday, and I'll make a post in the group. And there'll be an email that will go out too about that. So thank you, Mary. Thank you all so much, all of you who joined us. And if you have any questions, please just reach out to me or comment under the video, and I will get back to you. And I did open up the 12-month payment plan last week. So that is available, 12 monthly payments of $175, if that helps anybody be able to make this more doable for you. So thank you all so much, and have a great afternoon or day wherever you are. Much love, and bye for now.